Alright, so there's 4 10s on each side. Let's see. They really don't have any medians. Your 4202 could go profit in the middle. There's two things you can do, especially with no artillery. You can push up the one line if you want, or you can go town. That's pretty much your options in an IS-7. And either one would probably work in this case. They've got more tank destroyers. Yeah, it's pretty even. Yeah, everything else lines up pretty evenly. So you're loading HE, presumably for one of the light tanks, which is fine. They don't really have any other speed that can get up there that quickly. The STA can get up there, but theoretically you can pen the STA if you hit them in the right spot. Yeah. Your Wheezy 131 is going 0 line, which is kind of inexplicable. Your LTTB is doing a rather poor spotting run. You don't want to run this side of the ramp because you don't really spot anything. You want to actually go over to where the street is. Okay. So if you're going to go up here, that's sort of okay. You want to, you need to make sure that your team has the lights and that they're not too light in city where they just get pushed. You really an IS-7 in the middles, barring people who just drive through like this, it's not like a super profitable place to be. You probably could have afforded to let that aim in. IS-3 is pushing around the outside here. If you scroll back, you'll get an easier shot on. There you go. Well, it's very nice of them to come through one at a time. That certainly is helpful. Their E4 is over in the one line. You got a lot of tanks over in that one line. You're weak in town. That's something to keep in mind. They've got a lot of guys in that town area, in that E8, E9, but it doesn't look like they're doing a whole lot at this moment. Your guys are pretty far back in town, though.
It's a trap!
Looks like they're holding pretty well on the one line. They probably have some tank destroyers back there as well. The JT and the 704 behind them. You're doing fine where you are. You just need to get more shots. You're like backing off while you're reloaded. You know, while they're lit, you know, when the sun is shining, make hay.
It's a trap!
While they're lit, get shots. See, there's no reason for you to not already be pre-aimed on this guy. You need to aim that a little bit more to the right. You wanted that to drop in on the shoulder there. And again, there's really no significant reason for you to back off. If those guys get lit again, see how your M103 is peeking there? See, they're pushing on the outside now. So now you're going to need to probably relocate. If those guys push, see where that T-57 heavy is on that outside E8 area? If those guys start pushing, your guys are going to collapse down there. So they need your armor down there. You're not a snipey tank. You're a brawly tank. And pretty much every shot that you've taken so far has been at this, you know, 200 plus meter range. See how their T-57 pushed across? He's by himself, but presumably that STI is going to be soon to follow.
It's a trap!
He's going to be able to clip out your Indian, but your E75 should be able to be okay down there. Or he's clipping out the E75. Yeah, good for him. Doesn't look like your Indian's really pressuring him. There he goes. See how they're pushing in on you guys? You really need to get down there now. Like, this is a little bit too much snipey-dipey in an IS-7. You're a top-tier tank in a game with no artillery. They have their heavy tanks pushing into your lower-tier tanks and bullying them. You need to just go down there. You can bully that STI. Like, you don't want to wait until your guys are dead down there before you go down there. Is what I'm saying. See how even their IS-4 relocated down there. So the IS-8 and the IS-4 will eventually push up behind that STI.
It's a trap!
So the IS-4 will take the inner lane for mysterious reasons. Yeah, you need to get down there where you can bully the STI because he's eventually going to kill your M103. You're being a little bit too passive.
It's a trap!
You can still get down there. Get in front of that waffle. Help use the Indian to spot that other side.
It's a trap!
And remember, you have a super good turret, so as long as you're hull down on this guy, you have a huge advantage there. There's no reason for you to keep backing off. As soon as you're loaded, you should already be aimed on this guy. You should have just pushed the IS-4. The IS-4 is out in the open right now. He doesn't have a whole lot of support. Your Indian fell back to where the waffle is at. The 704 already missed you. You're going to get shot by one of these guys if you just stay in the same area. And your guys on that southeast are going to need help eventually.
It's a trap!
Just push him. Just push him! You need to get over there and help your guys. That STI is just like by himself owning your team. Just drive down there and shoot him. No, keep driving down there. Go! You gotta go save your waffle at least. Save your waffle! Save him! He's probably reloading after he just clipped out those other two tanks.
It's a trap!
You're like allowing yourself to get pinned in by two baddies. So basically you just sacrificed your waffle. You just said, nah, I'm not gonna need him. In order to chase down the 704.
It's a trap!
Their Roomba's through. You're still in a bad position. You need to break out. Ideally, you need to break out to a side where you can save tanks. So, towards the waffle. You don't want to create more of a gap between you and your team. You want to create less of one.
It's a trap!
So he's got the 15 centimeter. Which means you'll be reloaded before him.
It's a trap!
Push towards your waffle now. Don't worry about the JT. The JT will take a long time to get in your general area anyways. Oh, where are you going? Just go straight there. Oh, where are you going? Okay. I don't think even you know where you're going right now. And that's a problem. You're just flattening out this path.
It's a trap!
So the JT will be coming down here at some point. So he'll be someplace on the one line. So you can, now that your entire team is dead, you should probably push the JT because he's the weakest side. Those three guys are going to be close enough together that they can cover each other. What you don't want to do is camp too much where the... Oh, look, there he is.
It's a trap!
That was a nice shot. And then you just want to peek out here and pick off this IS-4, because this IS-4 is just driving across the middle at you. Go to the left here, and you can shoot that guy without being shot by his friends. Because eventually his friends are going to come along that J or the K line. The T-28 Proto may or may not be on the E line, you don't really know, but you're less worried about him than the STI.
It's a trap!
And that's fine. So I would actually go over towards that E line just to make sure that, because you're fairly certain that the STI is on the J line because he just shot you. Oh, and there's a tree that's down right there. Yeah, so they're both on the same plane.
It's a trap!
So it's fine. You're basically hold down there. You don't really need to move any place. The STI can shift over to your right, his south, which he's doing right now. So it's something that you're keeping an eye on. You should be. So you have 3 minutes left in the game, 3 shells. You have to do 4 shells worth of damage. Okay, you can actually do this, kill the if you can high roll in that, well, I guess you don't really need high roll. If you can pen your shots on the STI and then ram the T-28 Proto, you can win the game. So that's what you should be thinking right now. They're gonna probably hide. You have 2 minutes. Probably by about the 2-minute mark, you have to start going down there. Maybe 1:45. It's not really that far. You're a relatively fast tank, but you are gonna need to charge, presuming you want to win. So basically what you need to do is you'll drive most of the way there, stop, get a good shot on the STI, drive the rest of the way there, ram the T-28 Proto, and then finish with a shot on the STI. But you gotta do it soon. Take your time. Take your time. Okay? No, that's fine. No. Just drive out there. Just drive out there. Drive out there and shoot the STI. Beta shot from the T-28.
It's a trap!
There you go. And then just ram the T-28 Proto. Go off to the right a little bit, and then come in on his side if you can, rather than drive straight at him. Oh, 13. Oh, okay, that's not... I don't actually know how much the T-28 Proto weighs. Get some separation. Try to get some separation. You need to get some separation. Yeah, put your back up this hill. It's okay. I'm gonna say it. You didn't really deserve to win this game. You pretty much deserved a draw or a loss. So anyways, so what was the big problem? Why? I mean, you did 9,000 damage. So why am I down on this game? I'm down on this game because you should have won this game. And basically you cost yourself this game. You ran out of ammo, but you know what would have been nice if you had a waffle with you. You know, if that waffle was alive, if that M103 was alive. You had a chance to save a lot of these guys down here, but you spent far too long in the middle here just doing snipey-dipey, and that's not acceptable in an IS-7. Even late in the game, you know, when the 704 started pushing over you in the middle, you still had a chance. You still had a chance, and it was a smart thing to do to push their IS-4 so that the 704, if the 704 was smart, he would have been able to shoot you in the rear. They could have just done 1-2s on you. They weren't very smart, and you stayed in the middle. But all you had to do was just push towards that IS-4, and you still could have saved your waffle at that point, and maybe, although unlikely, the Indian. And so you ran out of shells there, but you ran out of shells because you didn't save your team when you had plenty and clear opportunities to save your team. And that's the sort of biggest problem that you had in this game. So if we look at the stats, you actually sniped reasonably well. I mean, it's not super easy to snipe in the IS-7. The gun itself is a little bit trolly, and like you saw that on like some of the shots in their IS-7 that was down in that E8 area. But you did make the shots that you did take count. I thought you actually had a chance to ram the T-28. It would have been nice if you had been able to get a little bit more over towards his side, but you know, them's the breaks. Look at that armor. Sorry. Look at that armor. 21 hits received, 17 non-penetrations. You know where that kind of armor would have been useful? In the city. It would have won you the game. Guarantee you it would have won you the game if you just went and saved those guys. But nice individual effort. I mean, I'll give you that. But your individuality costs you the win. GG. Alright, next game is 50B on Swamp. Alrighty, let's see now. There's one artillery. It's a CGC though, so you have to mind your wall hugging. 50B in this type of comp, pretty much the same. You've got a slight speed advantage. You still want to go secure the south bridge, so I would come to this H5 just to make sure that nobody's crossing. And if no one's crossing, you can do one of two things. You can go over to this side and cover your guys if they go up underneath, or you can start island hopping to get across yourself. But if you do that, you need to make sure that you have this side secure, but by then we'll probably know whether that's secure or not. So your Wheezy 120 is going north, so that should get you some intel about how they're deployed up there. This 1390 should be able to spot the south bridge, so you just need to shoot off of him. Be sure that you're close to this wall. You need to be almost inside where that 1390 is, otherwise the CGC can get you. Like where you're at right now, CGC can shoot you. CGC can still shoot you. And this is one of the things that you need to realize, that particularly against a tank like that, an artillery like that, is where you can be shot.
It's a trap!
They're shooting, should be able to get him, just back off. And so what I typically do, what you can do is the 50B has pretty good gun depression. So you want to be in this area right here. If your tank has a little bit worse gun depression, you can actually turn the back of your tank into this hill, which will prop the back of your tank up, which lowers the front of your tank, which allows you to get slightly better depression through there. Okay, your Wheezy 120 got a position up here, which is excellent. That's perfect. As long as he doesn't get himself RD'd, he needs to be a little bit further back. He doesn't really have any other fire support there. FE 183 is over here with an STI. Okay, that's fine. It's not that big of a deal. Your Wheezy 120 is getting pushed, and I don't think your artillery is looking in that direction. So he just got pooped on. That is unfortunate. That guy was in a good position. He just didn't have the support to be in that position.
It's a trap!
Yeah, you need to be careful right there. You don't want to drive out there to shoot that. You don't want to back up too far. You want to be right here. Right here is the safe place. You don't want to back up. You don't want to move forward. You don't want to be too far away from it. You want to be right up on it. You're not going to get any better shots by being a little bit further back. The only thing that you're going to do is allow yourself to get hit by a CGC. So you can't shoot the IS-8 from over here. You can shoot the IS-8 theoretically from where the 1390 is, but it's not advisable because you have to drive out there and there's not enough bush coverage to do it. See where your E5 is. He'll have shots on that IS-8. If you back up, you'll have... I guess it doesn't matter. So see how they're pushing across this northwest side? You actually want to go back now. This IS-8 is not a problem. So you want to go back to where your IS-8 is at and be able to shoot these guys. This RU is going to appear at this rock that's... I think this is the rock over here. It looks like the rock is right there, but I think it's actually right there. I might be wrong on that. Take your time. Let it aim all the way in. There you go. IS-8 is going to proxy spawn to you. Don't back up. Don't back up. You want to be up here. And remember, as long as you are proxy spotting the IS-8, that's fine. That gives your team a chance to potentially shoot him. The GWE is actually in a position where you can shoot the IS-8. Oh, at least we found out where your shots are going. And still, at this point, you should consider coming around to this side because these guys are going to start getting lit over here. There's an STI now coming up behind you that you should probably worry about more than anything else. Which occurs to me that you don't have Sixth Sense, maybe? Or that or best camo ever? Or really bad STI? No, you probably should have waited a little bit because he was rocking his tank back. Yeah, somebody tried to shoot you. Or maybe your E5 tried to shoot at their guy, actually. So their IS-8 is pushing around, which is good for you, actually, because that rids you of the biggest problem that you have underneath. You really need to worry about this IS-4 over here, though. So you should actually consider... if you can get the C3 down, that would be fantastic. Take your time with the last shot, take your time, take your time. Oh well, sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. So what you should actually do is actually start island hopping because we know where most of their tanks are, right? We know that they're all over here, the 183s over there. You don't really want to go over here because if you get lit over here, then you're going to get shot by a lot of things. And this doesn't really get you to shoot over here. What you want to be able to do is you want to be in a position... Ooh.
It's a trap!
want to get out of where you're at as quickly as possible. No, don't let the FE1... Oh, no, I don't think he can shoot you there. But you want to be back up over here. You don't want to be where you're at. You can go to this side, but this side is risky because you definitely don't want to sit in the gap. So they're pushing on your guys over here, so you're going to lose your artillery pretty soon. You still have your tortoise on this side, although he's... Fine. Now you can abandon that FE-183. I wouldn't go up on this ridge. There's no benefit to you going up on that ridge. The only thing that'll happen is you get lit. And then you want to be careful how you sit out here, because where you're at right now, the CGC can hit you. Let's go ahead and aim all the way in. Then I would consider switching to APCR.
It's a trap!
So you have a T-54 sort of headed out there, and you do not want any part of that. Don't scroll too far back. The further back you scroll, you have to be aware of how powerful that CGC can be in terms of its arc. That IS-4 is still exposing itself. You can push the FE-183. It's not a super horrible idea.
It's a trap!
Except for the fact that he knows you're coming. You're committed now, though, so... We'll see. At this point, it's probably better to go up right there than to continue on your path. Because he'll probably think that you're coming around the outside. But you need to do it fast. Like, your team is dying on the other side. So, whatever you need to do, if you're going to push this guy, you need to push him now. You can't be waiting for support. That's not going to come. So you need to take a risk here in order to have a chance to win, is what I'm saying. Now you reload it to the APCR. You don't need APCR to pen that guy. You could have just gone in with standard shells, but you should go. He's going to be facing your direction, though. Which is why I said if you drive up here, you can get around to his side. You're just waiting too much. Just too much waiting. Just do it. Just do it. Just go for it. See, that's why we need the emoticon. So we can say go for it.
It's a trap!
Okay, stay behind the building, stay behind the building. Okay, the CGC shot at the other guy. Actually, it looked like kind of a small splash with CGC. So then what you should do is, I would push through to their base, because they've got enough guys over here, unless the T-62A comes back through the middle, which you may or may not know. Looks like he did not. So, because you have enough guys to defend the base, so you can potentially get a cap out. Although, I guess if you can take out the IS-4 here, should be able to. Yep, push into your base. Reload now. Reload now. Still push in. Still push in. You guys should all be together. We haven't spotted the FE-183 yet, but presumably he's going to be, if not camping up here, somewhere on this side. You have to risk it, because you don't want your guys to get RD'd over where they're at.
It's a trap!
Lol. Yeah, so he was up on the ramp. It's fine. You just have to risk it. Yeah, you just have to push it. No, you didn't need to auto aim that. No, 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 keep going, keep going. You'd much rather get shot by him than by anything else in this game right now. Lol. Okay, you're safe. So, again, you probably wanted to push around on their guys, because the assumption is that the FE-183 was going to be on Overwatch somewhere over there. But that T-62A, or that whatever that Russian medium was, he definitely needed to be pushed. And then your T-54 took the wrong path. Your T-54 should have gone over here and just killed the artillery. There's still 3 minutes left in the game. You're not so fast that you can drive all the way out here. You need to start driving through the middle. You're being a little bit too conservative with this. You have 2 minutes. The E-75 is now inconsequential to this game. The E-75 will do nothing for the rest of this game because he has no time. The only people who have time to do things in this game are you and the T-54. So you and the T-54 have to win this game. So push straight across. Push straight across. You've got time. No, 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 go. Don't climb the hill and then go down. Just push straight across, get in there, go across, like that. You know exactly where their team is. You shouldn't be driving this way. Drive this way. Straight. Straight. Straight lines. Having the E-75 ensures that this game will be at least a draw. You need to push. If you want a chance to win, you push. So you could have accomplished the same thing as what you just did, shaved off maybe 20 seconds by just driving through the swamp there. And then you just have to risk it. You just have to risk that the FE-183 is facing the wrong direction and just push. Again, the E-75 will ensure that this is a draw. Although he is getting pretty close. I mean, he's giving it an effort.
It's a trap!
You know where the CGC is. Oh, I really thought that would attract.
It's a trap!
23 seconds. Risk it. Just go. Don't stop. Just risk it. The CGC is going to fire at you. It's part of the game. And so close. I'd say you're probably presuming, right, given where the E-75 is, and the E-75 made a valiant effort, but he got closer than I thought he would. You probably needed another 10 seconds or so in order to get around there to spot him and shoot him. And he might have shotgunned you, but there's no way that you were going to lose this game. You had an opportunity to win it, though. So what do I think went wrong? Not a whole lot. I mean, this wasn't like the previous 9K game. There's not a whole lot of options. I don't think that you played this area totally well. There were a lot of points there where I felt like you were exposed, especially, you know, once their CGC moves over to that side, you can't move too far away from this wall right here. I thought you could have shifted over to the west earlier, which would have allowed you to shoot their IS-4 on the way in, which might have given your guys on this side a bit of a better chance to win. At the end, I think you should have gone around by your guys, because the assumption is that the 183 is going to be somewhere in this area over here, but you know that you need to get that guy out. There's a lot of times where you're just a little bit too hesitant, like pushing this one FE 183. You know, if your team is dying, there's certain points where you just have to take a risk that you assume that the 183 is facing south here. You come up through this building and you come around through his north side before you get proxy spotted, and you just take a risk. You just do it. That's the chance that you have to take in order to try to win the game. Similarly, once you clipped out on that FE 183 and you saw him headed away, you should have pushed through down this way, just straight across. That would have saved you a lot of time, rather than taking a more meandering path where you went all the way around to the outside. Especially once you see that T-54 pushing north and the E-75 pushing east on this J line. The E-75, you know, as I said, was gonna be inconsequential that game, but through no fault of his own to some extent. So you have to understand that you're going to have to do the majority of that heavy lifting, and you don't want to do it from the range that you ended up executing from. You need to get closer given the amount of time left. So it's all about down and distance. Know how much time you have and how much time you need. You know, games like this come down to that, where it's just a matter of seconds. You should have been able to kill that CGC. If everything happened 30 seconds faster, this E-75 could have killed that CGC, even if the CGC killed you, but you didn't have enough time to do that, and in part that's because of moments of hesitation here and there. You know, you lose 30 seconds here, you lose 30 seconds there, it adds up, and you don't have time to actually do the things that you need to do to win. Alright, so if we look at the stats, 9k damage, it's good. From that range, you kind of assume that you're not going to have the best hit percentage, particularly on that E-75. I think a couple of your shots on the E-75 actually hit the E3 that you did not see, and I think that's why the E-75 probably blocked those shots, but them's the breaks. Overall, pretty good game. I thought you played it pretty solidly. Just try to cut out those moments of hesitation and try to intercept your enemy when they're pushing, like when they were pushing down that one line. You need to be there shooting those guys. You have to see that coming, right? You saw that they had, 6 or 7 tanks massed on the northwest bridge. You know that the WZ-132 or whatever it was had already crossed. What was it? One of their lights had already crossed. Do they not have a light? One of their tanks had already crossed. Maybe it was a medium tank then. Anyhow, so you have to see that push coming, and as they're pushing across that open area through that through this sort of E1, F1 area to get up to those guys, you need to be able to deal damage while they're crossing there, because that's going to help your guys in that G1 area a lot. Sorry, I just realized that you guys couldn't see that because the stats were up. So what I was saying is that, so if they're pushing through this E1, F1 area here, you need to be over here already, where you were spending time, a little bit too much time over here shooting at these guys over there, and then the FE-183 that was over there. I think these guys are fairly inconsequential. Trying to cross this south bridge late is a little sketchy. Not that great of a plan, especially since he got himself stuck back behind that thing anyways. So you could have come across over here to this sort of H5 area and been able to shoot these guys as they push. So anticipate the enemy pushes, and that'll help your team out a lot as well. But overall, I thought it was a pretty good game. Nice try. Oh, he was right there too. So sad. So you actually probably didn't even need 10 seconds. You probably only needed like 5 seconds there. Better luck next time. Alright, next one is a 140 on Fisherman's Bay. Alrighty. So let's see what we have here. They have a slightly faster team. They've got a couple big tank destroyers, which is actually kind of good on this map because big tank destroyers tend to sit in the back. They're not necessarily engaged in the initial confrontation. I would probably play the middle just to counter their medium presence in the middle, at least to start, until you can figure out what's there. And that will keep them from getting easy shots in your guys ahead to the town. So it looks like you have a pretty even split. Your tank destroyers are going back to this B1, B2 area, which is fine. I mean, that's what tank destroyers do on this map. It takes them out of the game, unfortunately, but it's not a whole lot that you can do. You can sort of spot from here, but I think it's really easy to get lit by their guys. You should... Oh, he turned. Just in time. You want to be careful sitting where you're at, because where you're at, if you get lit, you can get shot from there pretty easily. So where I typically go to spot is actually a little bit lower. I find that to be pretty profitable because it allows you to see into this area right here really easily. So anything that doesn't cross over on this J line, you're able to spot it. And that gives you an idea of deployment on this city side. And playing this line is a little sketchy because there's like a boat that's here that kind of blocks you. You can still see things, but it's not really that good of a firing lane per se. It just basically means that you'll stay lit.
It's a trap!
And the 140 doesn't have the best turret in the world, so you kind of have to be a little careful about how you do this. These are not really great shots on this IS-8. Like, essentially what he's doing is being held down there. He's gonna... that was kind of a lucky shot, but we'll take it. That was a good shot, but unfortunately it hit the wall. So we see that they've got some guys in the background here. You've got Campathon 2014, 2015 now, I guess. But that's, again, to be expected. Their E100 is on this outside wall, which is interesting. Your artillery should be able to hit him if he stays lit. Their FE-183 is on this inside, so you don't really have to worry about him yet. You're kind of playing this a little bit too much like a heavy, which is not how you want to play this. That FE-183 shot at your STI. It wasn't at you. He just hit the wall. There's a big boat between you and him. I'm not sure what you're aiming at right now. So again, this is one of those situations where, like, if you're sitting around and you're really not getting good shots, you probably shouldn't be sitting around there. I mean, it's just... You're not holding anybody back in your tier 10 medium. See, now this is a guy that you could shoot in the face. Well, you need to aim. See, why would you take shots at the IS-8 turret, but not at the Bat Chat? See, like, if it's a hull down Bat Chat versus a hull down 140, I'll take the 140. If it's a hull down IS-8 versus a hull down 140, I'm going to take the IS-8. And you need to be careful here because that FE-183 was in this area. You'll have to remember that. So that guy is somebody that you don't want to try to trade with. So it's a little bit too much peekaboo here.
It's a trap!
And meanwhile, all is quiet on the Western Front. Their Lorraine in the middle is low.
It's a trap!
Again, still just a little bit too much snipey dipey.
It's a trap!
Like, you never really want to trade 1-for-1 with heavy tanks. I mean, a Tiger 2 I'll give you, but presumably there's more than just a Tiger 2 back there. So it's 5 minutes into the game, you've got 600 damage, and you're down 5,000 health. So the worrying thing is the fact that it's 5 minutes into the game and you fired, let's see, how many shells does this thing hold? Maybe like 10 rounds or something like that. 12 rounds. So that means that, one, you really haven't been firing that much. Two, you haven't really had any good shot, anything good to shoot at. So see, your team is up there, they're battling, and you're shooting Tiger 2s and Pershings in the back. Okay, so but now you're sort of relegated to playing defense. That's all you can do at this point. Hey, look, your tank destroyers left on the west, and guess what they found? Nothing! Oh, look, they found a T-30. Ooh, and a Roomba. Their team was just as campy as your team. 6 minutes into the game, they found that out, though. So, you're, well, driving into the rock aside, you need to get out of there. You need to leave. Unfortunately, your CGC is going to die, your JP2 is going to die. You need to get all the way out, ideally without continuing to drive into inanimate objects. Yeah, you don't really want to stay there. Like, you want them to have to drive across a big open field to get to you. You don't want them to have houses and terrain and other features between you and them. You can't save this JP2. You're right next to him. You cannot save him. He will die. You have to understand that. It's not like the previous Fisherman's Bay game where there were guys that guy could have saved. This JP2 will die. There's nothing that you can do to save him. Lol. That'll teach that Tiger too.
It's a trap!
You should probably just push him. You should probably just push him. You can't really afford to dance around. There's a depression back there, see, that he's in? If you get in that depression, nothing else can shoot you other than their artillery. Ideally, you want to prevent him from spotting your CGC. Oh no! And there goes your JP2. You want to actually focus on that E100 if you can. I wouldn't worry too much about the FE183 or the IS3. If you see either of those guys, okay, good. You got the E100, even better. You can push the FE183, but if you do it, be careful. Try track. Oh, so what you still have about 10 seconds or so. You want to get close to the side, ideally to the back. Excellent. Just push up on him, push up on him, push up on him. You should be able to kill him. Ooh, as long as you get a reasonable roll. Good job, excellent work. And then hunt down the IS-3 as quickly as you can. Just drive straight at him. You can bully.
It's a trap!
Yeah, get around to the side though. You don't want to sit out in this field right now. Just drive past him. Good job. Don't drive that way. Drive back. Back. The only place where the You're in the only place where the GWE can shoot you. Alright. Bet you're safe. When Waffle's pushing you, but that's fine. Try to keep the Waffle lit. The CGC can shoot him as he tries to come across there. You know the GWE fired. No, no, no. You want to light him. Light the Waffle on that corner. You're knocking down trees. If their artillery is paying attention, he can relay that information. Get to the Waffle. Lol. Go back to APCR. So it's just a matter of time. The CGC is going to get pushed by the bat from that A line. You need to actually go back around that way to push the M103. Pushing the M103 from this side is probably not going to be super profitable, depending on where he's at. You do need to push that M103. You do not want to fight the M103 and the bat chat at the same time. You need to force that confrontation sooner rather than later. Like, there he is. Just push him.
It's a trap!
That's fine. You can fall back. He's pushing towards you, not towards your CGC, so that's to your advantage. Bat chat has finally come around. Go drive away from the M103. Yeah. Excellent. Get away from him. Get away from him. Just drive away from him. Drive straight at the bat chat. That's what it takes. The bat chat is one shot. You want to take the bat chat first. This is a perfect candidate time for auto aim. You are in a good position. You didn't need to repair that, probably. Yeah, I still don't think you needed to repair that. So you have a limited window here where you need to push. You'll get the next shot. Shoot the track. Shoot the track. Shoot the track. No. See, this is not the time to auto aim. The auto aim there was sending you a little bit high. You have approximately 20 seconds before the GWE is loaded. Ah, where are you going? Oh no! Yeah, so I mean, valiant effort at the end there, but the game was lost at the beginning. You were just too inactive. You didn't have good shots. 5 minutes into the game, you had 600 damage. That's a problem. It's just having no early presence at all in a tier 10 is always bad for your team. You came over to this position, which is intriguing, but you did not get very good shots there, especially against that IS-8. You potentially could have shot the bat chat, but yeah, whatever. That's water under the bridge. Otherwise, I thought most of the things that you did over here were fine for the most part in the late game, but in the early game, just too passive for being in a tier 10. I think if you're more active, that maybe you would have had a better chance. Which is also why I'm a big proponent of playing through this middle area here, because depending on what happens, you can get shots into this area right here, and then also push in or get shots if they push your team. You can't really do that from back here so much, so that's something to keep in mind. And so if we look at the stats, 6k damage. That's pretty decent. All of it was late game damage though, which is not so decent, but them's the breaks. They got a much more even contribution from their team, from guys who were allowed to live probably a little bit too long. That Lorraine went to pretty low health reasonably early from that middle area, and he unfortunately your team just didn't have any presence in the middle to finish him off, which is also the problem. So if you've watched the streams before, I always say that whoever controls the middle really has an advantage in the town, because it's really easy for the middle to shoot down into the town from either side, really. Nice try though. GG.